Before we go any further, if you've been feeling decision congestion, hesitation, or recurring escalation patterns in your leadership environment, I want you to complete the Executive Decision Fatigue Diagnostic. You can scan the QR code that's right on your screen, and it'll take you directly to the diagnostic. It's a structured assessment designed to reveal where architecture may already be shaping behavior. And it's through that lens I want you to listen to today's briefing. So let's jump right in and start our disruption. So delay is not neutral. Delay trains behavior. And what delay trains eventually becomes succession risk. Most leaders think succession risk is about talent shortage. It rarely is. It's about architecture. So I want you to type in the chat, delay trains. Delay trains, because it really does. Every delayed decision teaches something. When decisions stall, confidence hesitates, ownership softens, authority escalates upward, initiative decreases, not dramatically, gradually. And gradual erosion is more dangerous than visible collapse because it goes unnoticed and unchecked. Here's the tension. High capacity leaders often mistake delay for discernment. But discernment clarifies, delay diffuses. Those are different outcomes altogether. So let me ask you this directly. Where are decisions routinely slowing down in your organization? Where is it happening? Where is that bottleneck with decisions that's slowing in your organization? And more importantly, who absorbs the final pressure? If escalation patterns funnel upward, two things happen. First, the executive becomes overloaded. And second, the bench becomes underdeveloped. Succession is not built in crisis. It's built in distributed authority. So here's what I want you to complete on your own. In one of my earlier briefings just a few days ago, I asked you a question about if you were to step away for 30 days. Today, we're going all in. If you stepped away for 60 days, would strategic decisions continue or would they pause? That answer reveals the bench strength. Those who you have in training, those team members that you should be grooming. Would the strategic decisions continue or would they pause if you were not on the scene for 60 days? So let's talk about this a little deeper. I worked with a senior leader whose team was capable, on paper, strong resumes, strong track records, strong credentials. Yet when we mapped decision flow, nearly 70% of meaningful choices escalated upwards. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because the system rewarded escalation over ownership. When we traced it back, the executive frequently added refinements, elevated standard post-decision, and intervened in risk moments. All strengths. Yes, I'm not denying that. But frequency matters. Over time, leaders learned it's better to wait, it's better to escalate, and it's better to defer. Within 2 years, succession planning stalled. Let me just pause for a moment and say this. No matter how great you are as a leader, if you have not prepared your team, your organization for the person who will come after you, then how great is your leadership? No, I'm not trying to get you replaced. No, I'm not trying to devalue what you have contributed to your organization. Not in the least. I'm not trying to insult you that way. What I am saying, though, is you should be concerned about succession. Let me share something with you. I recently saw posted on LinkedIn. I don't know the person, so I can't even call her name. I don't know the organization, so I can't even call their name, and I wouldn't even if I did. But apparently, the founder of the organization passed away, unfortunately. And the organization, as you would expect, announced her passing, talked about the great impact that she had made on so many lives over so many years. They had nothing but great things to say about her. But then the next paragraph said, and the organization would also like to announce that with her passing, or because of her passing, we will cease operations immediately. I was flabbergasted. As a business owner, as a nonprofit founder myself, I was absolutely shocked. You talk about stop the scroll. I thought, for all the work that founder put into her organization, for everything that she did, all the sacrifices that she made for that organization, it's just going to stop and cease operations because she unfortunately passed away. I don't know what the circumstances are, and I'm not trying to pass judgment, but it certainly made me reflect. Have I prepared my own organizations for my successor? Have I prepared my successor? You know, I often say, and I have been saying for the past 6 years, that I am building a legacy that will outlive me. That sounds great, doesn't it? It's inspiring. And even when I write it down, it's very empowering. But the truth of the matter is, am I actually doing what I said I'm doing? Am I building that legacy to outlive me? Not that I'm planning on passing away anytime soon. I mean, who is? But the fact of the matter is, none of us will live forever. Or even we may decide our calling has shifted and we need to do something else. Or we have something, some other pursuit that we like to follow. Life brings about changes. And how have I prepared my organization for succession so that the legacy can outlive me, and it can go on? And so the reason why, with the senior leader that I worked with, the reason why succession planning stalled within 2 years, like I said, was not due to a talent shortage. It was due to decision architecture. When thresholds were clarified and risk lanes defined, escalation dropped, ownership increased, confidence stabilized, bench strength improved because authority was redistributed. So I want you to ask yourself this question: do I reward ownership, or do I unconsciously reward escalation? The answer matters more than any org chart. Here's the uncomfortable layer I want you to consider. Delay feels safe. It feels thoughtful, measured, responsible. But chronic delay communicates that authority lives elsewhere. And when authority consistently lives elsewhere, leadership development stalls. Succession risk rarely announces itself. It accumulates. And it accumulates through unclear thresholds, repeated escalation, executive correction habits, risk avoidance patterns. By the time succession is needed urgently, the bench is totally unprepared. When I'm referencing the bench here today in this briefing, I'm talking about your team, the team you hired, the team you put into place. Because architecture trained hesitation. So I want you to complete this sentence for me. My team hesitates most when. Think about it. My team hesitates most when. Finish that sentence. You can drop it in the comments or the chat, or you can just write it down for your own reflection, because that's where development is being quietly delayed. If delay is present, examine decision rights clarity, risk tolerance boundaries, correction frequency, escalation incentives, executive identity tied to indispensability. Because if the executive is always the stabilizer, the bench, the team, never stabilizes itself. Succession requires practiced authority. The key word in that sentence is practiced. Not theoretical readiness, but practiced authority. Succession risk is not a talent issue. It is a distribution issue. Authority must be exercised to strengthen. Ownership must be practiced to develop. Delay weakens both. The question is not, do we have strong leaders? That's not the question at all. Instead, the real question is, do our systems allow them to lead? Yeah, that question made me pause too. Do our systems really allow them to lead? You know, I have found myself saying in times past, by the time I explain to you or train you in what to do, I could have done it myself. That may be true, but that victory is so short-lived. If today exposed subtle delay patterns, I want you to complete the Executive Decision Fatigue Diagnostic. Again, the QR code is on your screen, and I'll drop the link into the comments or chat right away. But scan the QR code to get access immediately to the Executive Decision Fatigue Diagnostic. Clarity reveals whether your system is strengthening leaders or stalling them. And if you're ready to redesign decision architecture before succession becomes urgent, we go even deeper inside From Chaos to Clarity, a live decision architecture session for corporate executives. Serious leaders don't wait for visible breakdown. Serious leaders redesign before it's required. I'll see you inside.